Washington over the coming weeks. The number one priority is crushing COVID-19, making sure that we ramp up vaccinations, that we do it in an equitable way. So the Congress next week will be, in the House, will pass the American Rescue Plan. This is the all-encompassing proposal by the new president, Joe Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris, that it proposes to do a number of things: to beat the virus, to deliver immediate aid to families across America, and to support communities that are still struggling with the economic fallout from COVID. So when we talk about beating the virus, we intend to ramp up a national vaccination plan, ramp up the number of vaccines that are being distributed across the country. You all know we're suffering major shortages. That will get better, but a lot of this has to do with passing the resources that we need to ramp up vaccine distribution and make sure that we are targeting vaccines to communities that need it. I got some good news just this week from the Biden administration that Tampa Family Health Centers will be receiving additional vaccines that they did not expect as of a couple weeks ago. And we're going to need it's an all hands on deck moment to make sure that we are reaching communities of color and communities on the front lines. We're going to have to do a lot of education, and thankfully Dr. Snead and a lot of folks in the community have been working on that. But I look to a lot of the Tampa Bay Tech students here who can help with the education and explain to your neighbors, your grandparents, where they can get the vaccine in the coming days and how important it is to get vaccinated. The other part of the American Rescue Plan will be sending direct stimulus payments to families that need it. At the end of the year, Congress appropriated $600 per individual. Now, with the Biden plan, that will be an additional $1,200 for a total of $2,000 if you're in a household that makes $75,000 or less, or maybe you're an adult student. So those should be coming if we can pass the American Rescue Plan through the House and Senate in the coming days. It will also ramp up SNAP benefits, unemployment insurance, because a lot of folks have lost their jobs due to the pandemic. And we know if we can get through this emergency period, ramp up the vaccines, folks can get back to work, get their kids back in school safely if they have some hesitation on doing that, and help with childcare. There is going to be a lot in this American Rescue Plan. I'm going to work really hard to get it over the threshold in the House next week, and then work with the Senate. And then in the coming months, you will see a lot of outreach as these resources reach our community and beyond. The other thing that's on the front burner in Congress, we're likely in the House going to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We passed this in the House last year after the unconscionable murder of George Floyd. It will institute new resources and reforms for law enforcement agencies across the country. Fortunately, here in the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County, they are instituting a lot of these reforms. They have resources going into mental health care and interventions, but we want to provide additional resources for training, for mental health care, so that folks, so that we're treating people with respect. Get to outlawing racial profiling, banning chokeholds, reinstituting the Department of Justice Civil Rights Review for pattern and practices that raise racial issues. So look for the House to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act here in the coming weeks. The other is hopefully we're going to begin to march down the path of improving voting rights. I think we saw in this last election a lot of misinformation, a lot of voter suppression tactics, and we want to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act to update the Voting Rights Act and protect our right to vote in our democracy. To all the students, if you value being an American citizen, it does come with important rights, but it comes with very important responsibilities as well, to be an active citizen, to vote and participate. So you'll hear from our honorees today how they have been responsible American citizens, patriots, and healthcare heroes. So those are a few of the things on the tap in the Congress. It is such a privilege and an honor to represent this wonderful community. I love my hometown. And again, I love and respect our honorees today. So Dwayne, I think we're ready to maybe hear from Principal Woody Bethune. Thank you again, Principal, for hosting us. And while she's getting ready, let me mention, you just reminded me, there's one other project this year that we're going to get across the finish line. And so, it's something that I've been working on for many years in the Congress. Florida is represented by 2 statues in the United States Capitol. Of course, the Capitol's been in the news a lot lately. One statue is John Gorey, the inventor of air conditioning. Seems appropriate for the state of Florida. The other statue is of an obscure Confederate general. Well, we're going to retire him this year, and we in Florida will be represented by Mary McLeod Bethune, the great educator, civil rights champion. And right now, the statue is being sculpted in Italy by a female sculptor from South Florida. I've connected her with the architect of the Capitol, the Library of Congress, and hopefully we can have another education celebration at the time that the Confederate general is moved out of the United States Capitol and the great Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune is moved in to represent. I think that's an appropriate segue over to Principal Woody Bethune. Dwayne, don't you?
I certainly do, Congresswoman. We're happy to have her, and we want to once again thank her and the Tampa Bay Titans for hosting us this year. Principal Woody Bethune.
Absolutely. Well, one, I want to say I didn't realize that you all were going to talk about that, but my husband's great aunt is actually Mary McLeod Bethune, and that's where my last name comes from. So we're super excited that that's going to happen. So thank you actually for saying that great segue. I'm the proud principal of the Tampa Bay Technical High School. We have over 2,100 students. So we're known as the land of the mighty Titans. Right now, we have our health students here with us now. Our Academy of Health was established in 1992. It has grown into 8 specialty programs with over 800 students. We have many community partnerships due to our phenomenal teachers here, which allow our students to have clinical rotations to get the hands-on experiences that they need. Our students attain various certifications, such as EMT, cardiovascular technician, certified nursing assistant, and certified medical assistant, to give you a few of the things that we have here. Our students are very excited to be a part of this opportunity, and so am I. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of this and to grow and learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Woody Bethune. And before we go forward, I do want to recognize our elected officials that we have with us today. From Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, we have Chief Deputy Donna Luzinski. We have former State Representative Ed Nurain also with us. And of course, we all know Chloe Coney, who served for many years here in the Congresswoman's District Office. So Congresswoman, I will pass it along to you to begin the recognitions.
Well, terrific. Thanks again, everybody, and everyone at Tampa Bay Tech and all of the terrific educators and students there. What this celebration means is that we're lifting up some impactful people that come from this congressional district. This district is the city of Tampa and parts of Hillsborough County. It is rich with talent and people who have devoted themselves to public service. Every year, I lift up a number of our hometown heroes who have made an outsized impact to our community. And then we provide, I don't know if you see this, a statement that goes into the congressional record. So you will hear me as I read it. This will be presented to the entire United States Congress when I return there next week. So please indulge me as I share each one of their stories. Our first honoree is Dr. Dana Darien Glenn. Let's have a wave, Dr. Glenn. Good morning. Madam Speaker, this Black History Month, I'm celebrating Tampa's healthcare heroes. Today, I rise in admiration and respect for the public service and leadership of Dr. Dana Darien Glenn, who proudly serves our veterans as the Women's Center Medical Director at the James A. Haley VA Hospital and Clinic in Tampa, Florida. She was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1966, relocated to Tampa in 1972 with her family. Her own father, Dr. Glinton Darien, served as a full-time staff dentist at the James A. Haley VA Hospital, and Dr. Glenn has followed in his footsteps to serve our veterans. Dr. Glenn was also influenced by her mother, who is a retired registered nurse. While Dr. Glenn has always had a passion for science and math, building a sense of community for her patients started at a young age, when she would accompany her father, a deacon, as he visited the ill and shut-ins. The youngest of 3 children, she attended Hillsborough County Public Schools, graduating with honors from Lato High School. She then earned her associate's degree and graduated with honors from Hillsborough Community College. She completed her bachelor's degree with honors from the University of Florida in 1988, and her Doctor of Medicine degree from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill School of Medicine in 1993. She returned to Florida to complete the Bayfront Medical Center Family Practice Program. In Tampa, she met and married the love of her life, Vernon Glenn, where they live here with their 2 children, Alana and Theodore. Prior to joining James A. Haley VA Hospital, Dr. Glenn was a private practitioner for 10 years in Tampa. Part of that time, she ran a practice, the Glenn Family Health Center, with her husband. Her sense of community transitioned her from private practice to joining the Haley VA as a full-time staff physician in 2005. She was inspired by the hospital's patient-aligned care team, and less than 10 years later, she would become part of the planning team to open a center solely dedicated to women veterans healthcare, including equipment, supplies, and a space to ensure gender-specific care. The United States has more than 2 million female veterans, and the number of women using VA health services has more than tripled over the past 20 years. VA hospitals across the nation are adapting to serve the changing demographic, and Dr. Glenn has been an instrumental part of this transition. The James A. Haley VA Hospital currently serves approximately 12,000 female veterans. She's board certified by the American Board of Family Medicine and a member of the American Medical Association. Her list of past awards and honors include a finalist for VA Woman of the Year, Young Leader Award by the Florida Academy of Family Physicians, and so many more. She also serves as an affiliate assistant professor at USF Health Morsani College of Medicine, teaching internal medicine to residents. She has been a volunteer speaker at numerous church-based community health programs focused on women's health issues especially. She's passionate about helping people achieve their highest level of health and wellness. She's especially encouraged about opportunities to effectuate positive changes in the African American community disproportionately affected by COVID-19, and in multiple chronic disease health outcome measures, as well as underrepresented leadership roles in medicine. Her personal mission statement is based on her favorite Bible verse, Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Madam Speaker, on behalf of a grateful nation in the midst of a public health crisis and in the Tampa Bay community, I'm proud to recognize the service and leadership of Dr. Dana Glenn, as well as her eternal optimism guided by her personal faith.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Castor. That was beautiful. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And thank you for your tremendous support of women veterans and the James A. Haley VA. We miss your visits in person with our face-to-face roundtables, and we hope to have you back soon. I just wanted to give a few other quick thanks to Tampa Bay Tech. Titan Pride is strong, I see. And thank you, Principal Bethune, and congratulations on the 2020 Magnet Schools of America Excellence Award. And to the students who are here today, I see you, and I see you as future leaders right now and current leaders. And I encourage you to know your purpose, know your worth, and know your destination. And if you're ever interested in working in healthcare with one of the best organizations in the world, in my opinion, check out va.gov. It's like easy to remember, va.gov. It's like go Bucks. But anyway, we welcome young folks to come volunteer and work. It's a wonderful place. To my colleagues who are also on this panel today as honorees, Ms. Sumter, Pastor Vincent, and Dr. Snead. To my VA family, thank you so much for your support. To the executive leadership at the Tampa VA, Mr. Van Meter and Dr. Jakey, talk about two excellent leaders with genuine hearts and a servant's attitude towards leadership and supporting VA veterans, their families, and employees. And thank you to the Women's Center family. It's wonderful going into work every day, seeing people who are highly energized and so willing to help serve others. So a special shout out to Winnie Giles, Angelica Gibbs, Carlotta Walker. There's about 40 others I won't name, but just wanted to say a thanks to them. And to my dear parents who've been married 65 years, what tremendous role models you have been for me. Thank you so much. I see you both as getting younger and stronger at heart. And to the love of my life, Vernon, thank you for being my best friend, an amazing husband and father, and just always being there. I couldn't do any of this without you. And to Elena and Theodore, mighty and strong, keep on keeping on. And last of all, I give all glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because he is my value. He is my strength, my power, my purpose, and my destination. So I am so honored, again, Congresswoman Castor, for being here. And with all of these guests today, thank you for all of your labor and all you are doing to unite us in the community, to serve those who are in need of so many of these services. So thank you for your labor of love. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Glenn. And you know you have the love and respect of your colleagues as well. David Van Meter, who's the acting director of the Haley VA Center, is with us, and I saw him put kudos into the chat. And we are very fortunate here in our community to have the top VA health center in the entire country. I truly believe that, and part of that is due to folks like Dr. Glenn. And our new Women's Center and Primary Care Annex is not too old, out there on East Fletcher near I-75, and it's a remarkable place that's truly serving so many of our neighbors who have served us. And I see County Commissioner Kimberly Overman has joined us. Welcome, Commissioner. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for doing this. This is marvelous to hear all the rich resources we have in our community by the citizens that live and work here.
It's so true. And the next honoree is a remarkable person. We're going to celebrate the life of service of Dr. Kevin Snead. Madam Speaker, this Black History Month, I'm celebrating Tampa's healthcare heroes. I rise today in admiration and respect for the service and leadership of Dr. Kevin Snead, a tenured professor and the founding dean of the University of South Florida College of Pharmacy. Born in 1968, he was raised in Orlando, Florida. His parents were both public school teachers and were part of the initial wave of educators to desegregate Orange County public schools. As a student at Edgewater High School, he was a shining star, senior class vice president, a member of the National Honor Society, and a football and track athlete. He attended the University of Central Florida to earn his bachelor's degree in biology with a concentration in microbiology. While it's apparent that he was drawn to the sciences, it was a significant illness while in college that furthered his appreciation for healthcare and inspired him to enter this field. Dr. Snead then received his Doctor of Pharmacy degree from Xavier University of Louisiana College of Pharmacy, where he received numerous clinical and leadership awards. He returned to Florida to complete an ambulatory care, primary care, pharmacy practice specialty residency at Bay Pines VA Medical Center. And prior to joining USF, Dr. Snead was a faculty member at Florida A&M University College of Pharmacy. He joined USF Health as assistant dean and then founded its College of Pharmacy, which this year will celebrate its 10-year anniversary since welcoming its first charter class. In 2019, the College of Pharmacy received a $10 million donation from the Taneja Family Foundation, marking a transformational milestone for the young school and validating the innovative education experience that centers around primary care clinical pharmacists, which trains pharmacists and physicians together. And USF is a pioneer in this and a model for others across the entire country. Now, one of Dr. Snead's research and clinical interests is examining healthcare disparities. Not just examining it, but doing something about it. He regularly partners with organizations such as the American Heart Association and Reach Up Inc. to shine a light on these disparities and improve health outcomes. And his efforts were more critical than ever this year during the COVID-19 pandemic. During this time, Dr. Snead has been dedicated to ensuring African Americans and Latino communities understand the coronavirus and prepare for the vaccine, while working with the medical research community to help ensure equitable distribution among communities of color and others. Black and Hispanic populations that contract COVID-19 have a higher death rate by 2.8 times that of their white counterparts, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The same data set also demonstrates even higher hospitalization rates for Black and Hispanic populations. But Dr. Snead, so I am convinced that Dr. Snead's efforts have truly saved lives. He's active in national and state organizations, among which include the American Heart Association, the Association of Black Cardiologists, the National Pharmaceutical Association, American Society of Health System Pharmacists, and Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, Sigma Phi fraternity. He has been published in numerous peer-reviewed journals, books, abstracts, and so many more. Notably, Dr. Snead served as a site principal investigator and co-investigator on medication clinical trials. He is a gift to this community. Madam Speaker, on behalf of a grateful nation in the midst of a public health crisis and this Tampa Bay community, I'm proud to recognize the service and leadership of Dr. Kevin Snead and his audacious, inspiring vision to transform healthcare in a way that empowers the clinician, but more importantly, the patient. Dr. Snead, thank you for your service.
Well, Congresswoman Castor, thank you so much for the recognition. It's the honor of a lifetime, and we really value the advocacy you've been able to give us here in Tampa Bay. I would first like to really thank God for which all of this is possible. Without that, none of us would be here. Really thankful for that. I would like to take a moment and thank my We Care family. Mr. Hiram Green, Dr. Angela Hill, Ms. Christy Andre, and also our partners at Reach Up, Dr. Deborah Austin and Dr. Lo Berry. We've been working diligently and will continue to work diligently to supply information and education to our community here in Tampa Bay around COVID-19. And we are going to work with you directly to continue to try and overcome this scourge that has hit America. I would like to thank my USF Health colleagues, our Senior VP, Dr. Lockwood, my College of Public Health and College of Nursing Dean colleagues, and also the Tenasia College of Pharmacy family that we have here. Thank you for all of your support. I would like to thank my family. My parents are present today. As mentioned before, they were part of a wave of people that helped to desegregate Orange County in Orlando in terms of education. And my entire family is involved in education in some way, shape, or form. Cousins, uncles, aunts, nephews, everybody is involved in education. So we value education tremendously. And then finally, I would really like to thank my family. For the Tampa Bay Tech family, I wanted to encourage you all to hear these words. I met my wife when I was in high school. We've been together ever since, and she is now a federal magistrate judge here in the Middle District of Florida. Judge Julie Snead, the love of my life. And she's the one that has to listen to all of my crazy ideas and my passions. And typically, long before I get to the community, I run it by her first. And I want to thank her. And then my children, Asha and Ryan. Asha is about to enter college here soon, high school senior, and my son. But for all of you at Tampa Bay Tech and for everybody else here, I really want to encourage you along two things. Number one, my hope for you is that you will continue to have the opportunity to maximize your God-given talents. That's the beauty of living in America under the Constitution. And that's the promise of the Constitution. And now we have to work hard to apply the Constitution the right way for all of you to have the opportunity to maximize everything that you have been given, and that hopefully you will be able to return back to the community. My faith tells me and informs me that you will be able to go out and not use it for selfish purposes, but for the service of other people. If you do things for other people, typically it will be returned back to you in one way, shape, or form. And so my last word for you would be the intersection of purpose and passion. When those two things are used for good, if they're used for good in this world, it's among the most powerful things you will ever encounter anywhere on this earth. Because at that point, it means you won't give up. And you know that you're serving a cause bigger than you. And I rely upon my purpose and my passion to make sure I'm serving people in something bigger than me. So thank you all very much. And Congresswoman Castor, thank you enormously for the opportunity and for the recognition for all the work you do here in our community.
Well, thank you, Dr. Snead. And thank you for recognizing your fantastic better half in Judge Julie Snead. Maybe we'll do maybe we'll do heroes in public service in the legal community down the road. But I want for all the students, hopefully we will have time for you all to ask questions. So we'll move right along. But if you have a few questions, think about that. And after we make the presentations, you may have an opportunity to ask these outstanding public servants a question. So next, we're going to celebrate the life of service of Hetty Sumter. Madam Speaker, this Black History Month, I'm celebrating Tampa's healthcare heroes. And I rise today in immense gratitude for the life of service led by Hetty Sumter, whose contributions of her time and talents are a living example of selfless service to others. Born in 1955 in Donaldsonville, Georgia, raised in Detroit, Michigan, where her family worked in the automotive industry. Then Hetty moved to Tampa in the 1970s to attend the University of South Florida. She was the first of her 13 siblings to attend college. She completed her bachelor's degree in management information systems. After a short stint back in Detroit, Ms. Sumter returned to Tampa with her daughter in the 1980s to stay with her grandmother during her remaining years of life. Sadly, her grandmother succumbed to lung cancer in 1989. But this moment opened a new chapter in Ms. Sumter's life, and for the next 30 years, she would dedicate herself to educating fellow African Americans about preventing cancer, sharing available resources, and reducing health disparities through her tireless volunteering with the American Cancer Society. Ms. Sumter's work through the American Cancer Society Action Network spans lobbying lawmakers in Tallahassee, as well as Washington, D.C., fundraising, awareness about economic and cultural barriers to access to care and resources, and helping to ensure communities of color are included in the massive decennial cancer prevention study, which has had findings with global implications, such as establishing the link between cigarettes and the risk of lung cancer. Ms. Sumter has been appointed to numerous committees of the American Cancer Society at the federal, state, and local levels. And in 2019, she received the American Cancer Society Volunteer Leadership Award, presented to her in Dallas, Texas, after a competitive nomination process. The expertise she has gained has led her to become an outspoken advocate of improved health in other areas. I will always be grateful to her for standing with me to champion the Affordable Care Act so that more Americans could have access to affordable health care and not be discriminated against for having a pre-existing condition. And as a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc., she serves as its national liaison to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, as well as the March of Dimes, and has been instrumental in forging a national partnership between the Deltas and the American Cancer Society. In addition, she has served as chair for the board of directors for the Corporation to Develop Communities of Tampa, Inc., and chair of the Hillsborough County Community Action Board, both of which do critical work to help lift our neighbors and the entire community. Ms. Sumter now works at her alma mater, the University of South Florida, where she has also dedicated more than 3 decades, starting in the Office of Registrar, then at the Colleges of Engineering and Business, and now at the College of Arts as Human Resources Administrator. Ms. Sumter is an outstanding reminder that hard work and service to others always leads to progress. Madam Speaker, on behalf of a grateful nation and this Tampa Bay community, I'm proud to recognize the service and leadership of Hetty Sumter and her life dedicated to the cause, which inspires us all. Thank you, Hetty, for everything that you have done.
Thank you, Congresswoman Castor. This is such an honor and a privilege. Over the years, you hear people say that they're humbled by the magnitude of this type of recognition. And for me, it is truly amazing. And now I know how that feels. So thank you. And as well as one of my sorority members, Chloe Coney, who has been instrumental helping me, and Dr. Paulette C. Walker, who is the 25th past president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. They have been with me all the way. And to the students of Tampa Bay Tech, let me just say to you that the power of one is so important. You have the ability to change the world. It only takes you to be passionate about something or someone in your life. For me, as Congresswoman Castor said earlier, I am the first of 13 siblings to be able to go to college. And my mother would go to the hospital. Half of us say, I want a boy, and the other half would say, I want a girl. So she'd come home, boy for you, girl for you. So we have 2 sets of fraternal twins. And one of my twins, he had a heart condition. Little did I know years later that because of how those doctors cared for him, that it would impact my life. And moving to Tampa to be with my grandmother in the last years of her life when she succumbed to lung cancer really made a difference, because a lot of you at Tampa Bay Tech at some point or the other may be a caregiver for your parents or your grandparents. And I'm going to pivot to say to you that all politics are local. So I encourage you to become a registered voter at your earliest convenience and to start getting experience with working on political campaigns. This is one of the first times in the history since I've been a voter at age 18 that we have such a diverse membership of Congress, including Ms. Castor, and her mom, Betty Castor, was a former president of the University of South Florida. So as a woman, she broke a lot of barriers and she encouraged us, as well as she encouraged her daughters, to break that glass ceiling. Nothing, you can accomplish anything that you want to. And obviously at your school, you have a superior principal who will be able to help guide you through that light. And to the sorority members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, most of whom are in Florida, that started my journey with me with the American Cancer Society, as well as Asara Chelsea Paget, who now lives in the Carolinas. I am so appreciative that you came along with me as we developed a partnership with the Florida chapters, the Southern region of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and now that it is a national partnership, we seek to encourage and increase the educational and informational sources that the American Cancer Society has to offer. And just on a personal note, had I known more when my grandmother was doing her final days, I would have been able to assist her better. But now that I know that, and although I'll be happy to give my contact information to anyone who may be interested, because just you as a layperson, you can do a lot. It starts with the power of one. And to my daughter who is here visiting me this week from Atlanta, Georgia, she has been so supportive. And like Dr. Snead said, that when he has to run crazy ideas by his wife, she's the one that I, run the ideas about. And she's like, Mom, please. Okay. But don't be afraid. It can happen. And we've seen it happen in the Tampa Bay community. And we are so blessed that we have a congresswoman who is so open to receiving your ideas, to seeing you in her district office or in Washington, D.C., even if she's running down the hall to go do a vote. She's like, come on, walk with me. And it's very inspiring. And even no matter what your party affiliation, and you probably haven't formed those decisions just yet, but as you do, please reach out to both sides of the aisle. We need to share ideas, but healthcare is something that we all share and should have the ability to have, no matter if you are in an underserved or unserved population, if you are immigrant, please reach out, because there are those who will help you, or at least they will listen. And you have to tell your story. And for a lot of your parents who are not able to tell their stories, you're going to be their voice. Thank you again, Congresswoman Castor, my soror, Chloe Coney, and to Dr. Paulette C. Walker, as well as the members of Tampa Metropolitan Alumni Chapter, Tampa Alumni Chapter, and we have 2 undergraduate chapters here in Tampa. at the University of South Florida, you know, go Bulls, and University of Tampa. Thank you again.
Well, thank you, Hetty. You are a shining example of the power of one, that's for sure. And plus the chat box is blowing up from your sorors and all of your fans out there. So that's fantastic. So finally, we're going to honor Dr. Patrick Emmanuel Vincent. Madam Speaker, this Black History Month, I'm celebrating Tampa's healthcare heroes. Today, I rise in immense gratitude for the life of service of retired pastor Dr. Patrick Emmanuel Vincent, who, because of his vision and leadership, approximately 1,500 of our neighbors of the East Tampa community have a medical home and access to free health care through the Calvary Community Clinic. Born in 1948 in the southeasterly Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Tobago, our community is fortunate that for the past 20 years, he has called Tampa Bay his home, and for his pastoral service, leading the congregation of Mount Calvary Seventh-day Adventist Church since 2001 until his retirement in 2016. But Dr. Vincent isn't the retiring type. You all know this. He always wanted to be a minister of the gospel as far back as he could recall. He started his preparation for ministry at the University of the Southern Caribbean in Maracaibo Valley, a few miles northeast of his childhood home. He then attended Mandeville, Jamaica to complete his bachelor's degree at the Northern Caribbean University. He graduated with a master's degree in divinity from the SDA Theological Seminary at Andrews University in Michigan. He completed his Doctor of Ministry degree at Vanderbilt University Divinity School. His pastoral ministry took him to Nashville and Chattanooga, Tennessee, as well as Birmingham, Alabama, and Orlando, Florida. He became a renowned church builder and church growth specialist. And as senior pastor of Mount Calvary SDA Church in Tampa, Dr. Vincent led his congregation into their beautiful new sanctuary and reconstructed the church's school. But Dr. Vincent's vision went beyond serving the congregation of his church. He led a survey within the East Tampa community where his church is located to determine the most critical need. In response to the growing uninsured population in this area, the Calvary Community Clinic was established in 2015 to provide quality, compassionate care. Dr. Vincent raised funding through Mount Calvary Church endowments and membership contributions, community initiatives, donations from corporations, as well as grants. And today, Dr. Vincent serves as the chair of the board of directors for the clinic and a volunteer staff of certified physicians, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, counselors, social workers, and other support staff to provide free health care and free education services to the uninsured, underserved, and working poor individuals and families of East Tampa and Hillsborough County. Dr. Vincent is happily married to Judy Williams, and together they have committed their lives in service to God and their neighbors. So, Madam Speaker, on behalf of a grateful nation and this Tampa Bay community, I'm proud to recognize Dr. Patrick Emmanuel Vincent and his lifetime of servant leadership, spiritual guidance, and his entrepreneurial spirit to uplift and grow his congregations, and beyond that, our entire community. Pastor Vincent, thank you for your years of service and your vision and your care for all of our neighbors.
Thank you very much, Congressman Castor, to the members of your team, to all of my fellow honorees, and to the Tampa Bay Tech students and faculty, and all of those who are connected in this program today via video. The Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. But the converse is also true. Where there is no people, the vision also perishes. And so today, I would like to express a permanent debt of gratitude to all of the people, the membership and leadership of the Mount Calvary Church, to all of the members of the board of directors, to all of our community partners, and to the countless and numerous volunteers who serve the clinic on a day-by-day basis, particularly Mrs. Marcelina Adonis, and whose combined wisdom, vision, and talent serve to fulfill the mission and to support the vision of the clinic. Little did I realize when I launched out on this fulfilling of this vision, what God would do through it to make it the medical home of over 1,500 persons who are underserved, unemployed, and members of the least of these in our community. God continues to use this as a vehicle through which the needs of many people are met, not only in the area of their medical needs, but the program has now been broadened to include vision and also dental needs. And as it continues to grow and expand, it will meet the needs of more and more people in this pandemic era when so many people continue to lose their jobs because of the high unemployment caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Steve Covey, in one of his books, summarizes the sum total of the human existence. He says the goal of every human life ought to be to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. It is my abiding and enduring hope that the clinic will be the combined legacy of all of us that we leave to this community that will help multiply thousands of people in generations yet unborn to receive free medical care so that their standard of living might be improved. And when we stand before God in the day of judgment, we will all hear him say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You have done it unto the least of these my children. You have done it unto me." I would like to thank Mrs. Adonis. I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, my never failing source of help and strength. I'd like to thank my wonderful and beautiful wife, and I'd like to thank all of the members of the board of directors. To the students of Tampa Bay Tech, may I say to you that as you develop your minds for knowledge and wisdom, develop a heart for the community. And if you make a commitment to give back to the community, you would like a candle that will punch a hole in the darkness and will be able to fulfill the directive of the scripture. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Thank you very much for this honor. It is deeply appreciated, and may God richly bless one and all.
Amen.
Amen. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, that was great, and we want to once again congratulate all of our honorees from this morning. Congresswoman Castor, you couldn't have picked four greater healthcare heroes that are here in the Tampa Bay area. So again, congratulations to you all. Before we move forward to questions from our great Tampa Bay Tech Titan students, we did want to get a quick picture of the panelists. So Ricky, we are ready when you are.
And anyone that's out there in virtual land, turn on your screen and hopefully we can get you in the photo too.
Right, if everyone wants to smile. Okay, we're having some folks join in.
Come on
Perfect.
in. That's it.
Everyone a moment. Fabulous. If everyone wants to smile. the camera. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, I'm having some tech difficulties. Give me one moment.
All right, I know there's some other folks out there. Turn on your screen. You can get in our photo. And it's Hetty's birthday, so this can be her birthday card too.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday, Hetty.
Thank you.
Perfect. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Thank you all so much. We'll get that around after the event.
Thank you, Ricky. And Principal Woody Bethune, I will let you coordinate on your end if some of our great Tampa Bay Tech Titans have any questions for Congresswoman Castor or any of our honorees this morning.
You have to keep smiling.
We have one student coming up now with the question. She's coming up right. 2 questions, actually, 2.
Okay, that's perfect.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emily. And,
Step a little closer.
Right here.
Okay.
I'm Emily Fable, and I'm
Here.
Principal Woody, we still can't hear her.
Okay.
You gotta say like you gotta talk really loud.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, like that. Okay.
Perfect.
Hello.
Good morning.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good morning. My name is Emily Fable, and I'm in the EMR program here at Tech. And I have 2 questions. One for Representative Kathy Castor and one for Dr. Snead. So
Okay.
my first question for Representative Castor is, what actions will you be taking in Congress in efforts to shine a light on healthcare disparities with inspiration from Dr. Snead's research?
That is a fabulous question. Thank you. So in the American Rescue Plan, we intend to bring that to the floor of Congress next week. It contains billions of new dollars to address health disparities in COVID. It means when we ramp up the vaccine distribution, we provide resources for mobile units. That's something that Dr. Snead and Hillsborough County have on tap already. But to get to the places we need to get to across this community, they're going to need additional resources, dollars, staffing. We need all of our nonprofit partners out there working in partnership with us. So this is a front burner issue. And I think I announced at the very beginning that we have new vaccines now on their way to Tampa Family Health Centers, which will be vitally important to ensuring that vaccine and additional materials and test supplies get out to places that need it.
Thank you. And then my question for Dr. Snead is, what can we do as students to learn and educate others on healthcare disparities in our community?
That's a fabulous question. Thank you very much for that. I think the first thing I would have you all do, number one, would learn the history of why healthcare disparities even exist in our country. I can either go back 200 years, but I'll just start at about 120 years from, prior to now, and then even shorter than that. Go back and read about the Tuskegee Experiment, number one, and just read about the atrocities that occurred to men in Alabama, in Tuskegee, Alabama, around clinical research, number one. Number two, the stain of health inequities and health disparities here in our country have existed for a very long time. But the thing I would encourage all of you is to not be bound by the history of the past, but to really move forward and make sure that we're doing everything we can through, number one, your energy, number two, through your hard studies, and then number three, through advocacy and working with people like Congresswoman Castor and make sure that we are identifying anyone that needs good health care, and then bringing about the volunteerism, bringing about the awareness and the education to overcome that. But we can't understand, or it will be difficult for you to understand the true impact of what you can do without understanding the history. And so I would encourage all of you, if you have not done it before, to go back and start with probably the Tuskegee Experiment. We did a wonderful YouTube video program about 2 weeks ago with Reach Up Incorporated. And I think it will be very enlightening, and hopefully it will awaken within you a passion to go out and make sure that we can erase healthcare inequities moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. We may have time for one more question, Principal Woody Bethune. I understand it's almost lunchtime, so we want to make sure our Titans can get to lunch.
So, Jonathan. Come on, Jonathan. You got it, Jonathan? Yes. Come on up. Come on up. Okay, it's on you.
Hello, can you guys see me?
No,
I'm so
I can't even
tall.
hear you. Here, I can't even hear you. Talk loud, talk loud.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Everett, and I'm a part of the dental aid program here at TBT. And my question is for Dr. Dana Glenn. What was your motivation that helped drive to where you are today? And is there any advice that you can give to us young future health leaders? Did you guys hear me?
You're muted, Dr. Glenn.
Thank you, Jonathan.
All right, thank you. Hey, that was a great question. You know, a lot of things come to mind just in terms of the motivation. When I was going to Morgan Woods Elementary in Town and Country, Webb Junior High, I was the type of introvert and very introspective, and I would be more of a let me see what's going on and not necessarily verbalize it. But I think what motivated me is during my journey in life, I met people who were who believed in me, who taught me that it's okay to be a leader in my own style. And I really learned to understand that the passion I have for science and medicine and for wanting to help people, putting that all together into this career that I do now at the VA is a wonderful, amazing combination. And I'm truly inspired by just this panel with me today. And of course, Congresswoman Castor, and just using that energy, that information, that intellect to be able to give back to the community. I think a lot of this is journaling, talking with people, and giving yourself time to explore. But there's some basic things that are going to be really important: the good grades, getting involved in the community, and really getting some experience hands-on in healthcare and understanding what your niche is and realizing that celebrate your own uniqueness and look unto the Lord from whence cometh your help. He's your, let him be your guide, your path. But look into va.gov, come and volunteer sometime at the VA, and you'll meet some dynamic people who are really going to encourage you. And I think that's just my little bit of what inspired me to what I'm doing today. Thanks for asking.
Well, we want to thank all of our students for those great questions, and I will pass it to the Congresswoman for any closing remarks she may have for us today.
Well, thanks again, everyone. Again, I love and respect all of our honorees today, and I take inspiration from all of you, your service to our neighbors in this community. Thank you, Tampa Bay Tech Titans and Principal Woody Bethune. This is a community that is rich in healthcare resources. We have the top research university in USF Health, one of the best in the entire country. We have a Hillsborough healthcare plan that that works to ensure that folks who do not have coverage get the health care we need. We have big-hearted folks like Pastor Vincent in the Cavalry Clinic, and yet people still suffer from inadequate coverage, and they don't get the care that they need. We're going to try to improve this, however. Remember, Florida is one of just a handful of states that has not expanded Medicaid. So that means we have hundreds of thousands of our neighbors across the state that don't have health insurance. Well, also in this American Rescue Plan proposed by President Biden and Vice President Harris, we propose to provide new incentives for the state of Florida and others to begin to expand coverage. President Biden, you should also know, last week announced that there's a special enrollment period if your family, someone in your family or a neighbor's lost their job due to COVID-19, they can sign up for a plan in the under healthcare.gov, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and there are new tax credits. And we're going to work to make health coverage much more affordable in partnership with President Biden and Vice President Harris. This is part of our calling as a community to look out for each other. And I hope that the stories of our healthcare heroes and honorees today provide that inspiration to all of you to seek out these careers and serve your neighbors. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Thanks again, Tampa Bay Tech and our honorees, and back to you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Congresswoman. And again, thank you everyone for joining us. And I would be remiss if I did not mention, if anyone has any issues with a federal agency, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Congresswoman's office. We have the best constituent services team in the United States Congress. And our office number is 813-871-2817. So if you know of anyone who has issues with a federal agency or just need assistance, if it's not federal, we'll point you in the right direction where you need to go. So don't hesitate to reach out to our office. And again, thank everyone for joining us this morning, and we hope you have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Principal Woody Bethune and the Tampa Bay Tech Titans.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all of you. You're a wonderful gift to our community.